You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play.
Welcome to the Hot Options Report, your premier source for insight into the fast-moving options market. Each day, we'll track down the products that are dominating the options chains and impacting your trading account. From Apple to VIX and everything in between, if it's lighting up the options tape, then you'll find it on the Hot Options Report. And now, get ready to scan the tape for the most explosive options activity on the street. It's time for the Hot Options Report.
All right, everybody, that music means it's time to get down to business on the Hot Options Report for Thursday, September 4th. Now, if you're listening to this show, chances are that you're pretty serious about options trading. So let me put something on your radar. Public. It's the most cost-effective way to trade options. That's because Public is the only platform that gives you rebates on your options trades. They also have some of the industry's lowest index options fees, whether you're placing single leg or complex multi-leg trades. Every dollar counts. Check out public.com/optionsbrief and discover the most cost-effective way to trade options. Again, the Hot Options Report brought to you by Public. Full disclosures in the podcast description. All right, let's kick things off. In the world of vol, as we like to do with a little bit of VIX options activity. Was it a hot day in VIX options land? The answer was respectable. About 760,000 contracts on the tape against an ADV of 788. So pretty close to its average out there. The hot option in VIX land today, almost 46,000 of the September 15.5 puts. Going up for an average price of about 33 cents. You like those? Are you a buyer? Are you a seller at that price? VIX cash going out today right around 15.30. So those 15.5 puts looking in the ballpark. Again, of course, you have to price these off the futures, not off the cash. But interesting stuff out there as we keep on rolling out to SPY land. Was it a hot day in SPY? Similar answer. It was pretty respectable. A little bit north of 7.8 million contracts going up in SPY today against an ADV of about 7.86. So pretty much right in line with its ADV. The hot option in SPY land today, 443,000 of these 647 calls. Average price of about 53 cents. In that case, those folks are going to go home happy because if they held them to the close, SPY went out a little bit north of 649, 649.12. So a good do, as the kids say, on the 647s for around half a buck. As we keep on rolling out to the SPX, putting up almost 4.45 million contracts on the day. That's a little bit heavy against its ADV of 3.83 million out there. The SPX going out a little bit north of the 6,500 level, 6,502 to be precise, 6,502.08 to be extra precise out there. And the hot option in the S today was the 6,495 calls, going up 170,000 times, almost exactly. Average price of around $1.25. So interesting stuff out there. Again, we were flirting with that 6,500 level all day and finally closed above it. And Uncle Mike was waiting for it to maybe hit a new all-time high so he could do his trademark phrase on TWIFO. Did not come to pass, but a good day nonetheless for those folks buying a little intraday upside there in the S. As we keep on rolling out to small caps, was it a hot day in small caps? About the same, about pretty much right in line with expectations. That small cap ADV has come back to earth now a little bit. It was up to about 1.5 million. That's a lot for small caps. It's at about 1.3 million right now and hit about 1.3 million today. So right about in line with expectations. The hot option in small caps today, about 73,000 of the 235 calls. Average price on those, 38 cents. And once again, by the way, these are going out today, so 0-day contracts. And 235 is looking pretty good when IWM going out today, almost 236.60. So another one where if you bought them at that average price and you held them through the close, you're looking pretty good out there, listeners. As we keep on going out to the Qs, hot day in NASDAQ. It's one of the lighter ones on our tape today. The NASDAQ coming in a little bit shy of 3.6 million contracts today. The ADV is 4.2 million, so over 500,000 contracts, 600,000 contracts shy of that ADV, which is kind of interesting given how most of our other major indices were pretty much in line with their averages today. The hot option in the queues today, 191,000 of the 572 calls, again, going the way of the dodo today. The queues going out 575 and about a quarter. So with an average price of about $1.17, those 572s also looking pretty good. So a little end of day rally, never a bad thing for those folks who are picking up a little bit of 0-day upside. As we keep on rolling out to our single name equities, was it a hot day out there? The answer was it was decent. A little bit north of 500,000, 541,000 contracts to break into the top 10 today. That gets you to our old pal, Bank of America. Don't normally see Bank of America lighten up the tape out there, but it did go ex-div today. If you don't know what that means, check out some of our educational programs, listeners. That's always going to gum up the works and drive a lot of, let's say, nonsense volume. And that is pretty much the case out here in Bank of America because Bank of America closing $50.62 today. And the hot option out there, the September monthly, not even the weeklies, the monthly 45 calls. So a $5 and change in the money call going up 81, almost 82,000 times. That is textbook div play paper. You're usually going to trade the strikes that are in the money with the largest open interest, try to capture that dividend. And that's pretty much what they're doing out there, listeners. Nonetheless, Bank of America coming in at number 10 today. As we keep on rolling to number 9, it's AMD putting up 577,000 contracts on the tape, closing a little bit shy of 161.80 today. And the hot option out there, a more standard contract. It's going out to the weeklies this time. What we expect in this report, not the Bank of America ex-div nonsense. The 160 calls expiring this Friday, going up about 40,000 times. Again, an interesting choice in the money call. They had an average price of about $1.80, in which case they're already happy campers because the stock where it closed today, they went out worth exactly $1.80, plus, of course, a little bit of extrinsic value. So they're happy campers right now if they bought those, and they're still holding them right now. As we keep on rolling to number 8, good old Palantir, 662,000 contracts on the tape. The hot option in Palantir today, nearly 50,000 of the 150 puts expiring this Friday. Average price on those about 60 cents. Now that's an interesting trade given the fact that we closed at about a little bit north of 156, 156.14. And we've also broken that strike multiple times over the last few weeks and then rebounded again pretty aggressively. So if you buy those, there's a good chance we could break the 150 strike again. Well, maybe not by tomorrow, but if you had maybe a week on those. And then also, if you're going to monetize those, you got to be quick on the trigger finger if you're buying those, because if past is prologue, not going to hang out below 150 for long. So very interesting top option out there in Palantir today. As we keep on rolling to number 7, it's our old pal Alphabet. Of course, had a favorable court ruling come their way recently, and stock reflecting that out there, listeners, closing today 232.30, putting up exactly 700,000 contracts out there for good old Alphabet Class A. The hot option out there, 53,000 of the 230 calls expiring this Friday, which again, tomorrow, average price of $1.26. So you can already do the math, listeners. Those are already looking pretty good out there. They're about $1 and change to the good on those calls. So not a bad do, as the kids say. As we keep on rolling out to number 6, our old pal, the Monster. They want to be called Strategy now. That's just boring. We're going to keep calling them the Monster, a.k.a. MicroStrategy. 882,000 contracts on the tape for them. Closing today a little bit shy of 327.60. The hot option out there, 52,000 of, again, this is kind of a theme for them. Long-dated wacko upside. In this case, it's the regular September monthly 390 calls, again with this strike. Someone has a crazy axe to grind on these 390s out here in the Monster, listeners. You might have to do a little bit of digging to get to the bottom of exactly what game is afoot out here in these 390s. I think they opened a lot of them back on July 1st for prices around $36. 51,000 of those. Started taking some off. This name swung all over the place, but there has been a lot of action. This is probably closing paper if I had to guess. In which case, they're bailing on getting whatever they can left for these calls. In this case, they still got an average price of nearly $2 for the 390s. Listen, this is what we were talking about last week on the show as well. Just how wild this upside is in the monster. If you want to do some covered calls, they're paying you a lot for strikes that aren't really that relevant. So again, that poses some opportunities out there, listeners. So something to keep an eye on as we keep on rolling to number 5 is the fruit company, putting up nearly 1 million contracts today, 961. Closing a little bit shy of 240, 239.78. So a good little run here for the fruit company. And the hot option out there, 153,000 of the 240 calls, again, expiring tomorrow. Average price of 90 cents. So if you're buying those and you're still holding them, you need the stock to run a little bit to have those at least break even for you out there for number 5. Number 4, keeping it in the A tech names. It's the Amazonians putting up 1.08 million contracts out there today. A hot day for them, closing 235.68. And the hot option out there, appropriately enough, the 235 calls going up about 110,000 times. Average price of $1.32. They got a day to run. Can they keep running, listeners? They have to get all the way up, obviously, to 236.32 to break even. Can they maintain that by tomorrow? We shall see as we keep on rolling to number 3, Open. We were talking about this on the option block with our buddy, the Flowmaster. Open continues to open eyes on the volume it can put up. Over 1.5 million, 1.54 million contracts. Threatening a 6 handle out there today in Open, closing 596. Oh my goodness. What a wild, it got over 6. It got to 607 today. This thing was just hanging out 2.25 not that long ago. And of course, before that, go back a couple of months, it was 50 cents or whatever. So just a wild time in Open, listeners. The hot option out there. You can probably guess it was a call, the question of which one. In this case, it was the 6s going up nearly 200,000 times today for 20 cents. So you're just rolling those bones. We're going to close north of 620 tomorrow or not if you're buying those, listeners. It's a little scratcher. You like them? In the after hours, you're looking all right, 603. But one day to go, rolling those bones, 20 cents. Are you a buyer or are you sold to you, listeners? As we keep on rolling, you can probably guess what number 2 and number 1 are at this point, listeners. Number 2, our old pal Tesla. 1.6 million contracts for them, closing 338.62 today. And the hot option out there, 112,000 of the 340 calls, again expiring tomorrow. So average price for those of around $2. So you know the deal by now. Has to rally to about 342 by tomorrow and stay there if you're buying these bad boys just to break even. So need a little bit more upside on the docket. If you're selling those, then here and below will certainly make you happy as we keep on rolling to the number 1. It's Nvidia today. Kind of a light day for them. Only 2.05 million, but enough to take the top spot on a fairly light day out there. Nvidia closing 171 2/3 today. And the hot option out there, about 190,000 of the 172 halves. Average price on these of about 83 cents. So obviously they need the stock to run a little bit tomorrow if you're buying those in order to make those bad boys pay off. If you're selling them, hey, here or below will suit you just fine. All right, that's going to do it for your hot options report for Thursday, September 4th. If you're subscribed to the full network, we'll see you back here, of course, tomorrow for volatility views. Should be a lot of great vol talk on that episode. I'll be joined by good buddy Dr. Vix and who knows which other special guests. And then, of course, for our pro folks, we come back exclusively for options oddities to talk some wild trading activity from the week. If you like unusual activity, Options Oddities is your huckleberry. Only place to get it, theoptionsinsider.com/pro. Then, of course, we'll wrap up the week one final time with the hot options report. See you then. And, of course, stay safe out there, everybody.
Check out public.com/optionsbrief and discover the most cost-effective way to trade options. Paid for by Public Investing. Full disclosures in podcast description.